Welcome to Dalit Knowledge. Dalit Knowledge is the knowledge of truth. This is Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara, Dalit historian and an Ambedkarite thinker. This lecture is about Dalit English and Brahmin Sanskrit. Academically, the title could be The Issue of Language from Dalit Perspective. This lecture is not about language but about heritage. This lecture is to find out Dalitness in English and Brahminness in Sanskrit. It is to find the pride of Dalit through English and the pride of Brahmin in Sanskrit. This lecture is more or less a continuation of my earlier lecture titled What is the Mother Tongue of Dalit Mother? So you may watch my first lecture, What is the Mother Tongue of Dalit Mother, to understand the subject on Dalit English and Brahmin Sanskrit with a more clarity. Language is for man and man is not for language. If I put the same from Dalit perspective, it could be like this. Language is for Dalits and Dalits are not for language. It is the choice of Dalits to learn or not to learn any language. Dalits don't die for any language. Dalit life is more valuable than the life of any language. If any language is dying, it is not the duty of Dalits to protect it. Dalits are not going to fight for any language and Dalits are not going to fight against also any language. However, Dalits give first preference to learn English because English empowers the Dalit race globally and makes Dalits the global leaders. Once Ambedkar said that English is like a milk of a lioness. Whoever drinks this milk called English could roar like a lion, of course, intellectually. With this philosophical and intellectual position of Dalit race on the issue of language, now let me explain how and why. English is Dalit English and Sanskrit is Brahmin Sanskrit, particularly in India. No language belongs to any particular race or caste. All languages belong to all races. However, in India, English is Dalit English and Sanskrit is Brahmin Sanskrit. English is Dalit English because for Dalit race, it is not just a language but a cultural heritage. English is a Dalit cultural heritage because English is the language of Dalit literature. Though we could find Dalit literature in other languages, Babasaheb Ambedkar's writings and speeches we could find originally only in English language. Hence, English is cultural heritage of Dalit race. And also, English is the language of Dalit cultural spiritualism. Dalit cultural spiritualism we could find in the writings and speeches of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Again, those writings and speeches we could find only in English. Hence, English is not just a language for a Dalit race, it is a cultural heritage for Dalit race. Ambedkar, by owning English, he restored Dalit pride and self-respect. Since then, Dalits are owning English as their own language to regain their lost self-esteem and dignity. In India, Sanskrit is Brahmin Sanskrit because for Brahmin race, Sanskrit is not just a language but it's a cultural heritage. Sanskrit is a Brahmin cultural heritage because It is the language of Brahmin literature. Though we could find Brahmin literature in other languages, Sanskrit is the language of Brahmin spiritualism. Hence, it is not merely a language. Sanskrit is linguistic cultural heritage of a Brahmin race. It is not the question of how many Dalits speak English or how many Brahmins speak Sanskrit. It is the question of finding Dalit cultural heritage in English, and it is the question of finding Brahmin cultural linguistic heritage in Sanskrit. English is not the national language of England. The same way, Hindi is not the national language of India. There is no national language in England and there is no national language in India. There are only official languages. English is official language of England and English and Hindi are official languages of India. In other words, English and Hindi are official languages of Government of India for administrative purpose. Today, millions of Dalit Indians speak English not only to understand the official language of Government of India and also to find government and private jobs. Not only that, they speak English to own English as their cultural heritage. This is the language culture of Dalit Indian race. According to latest available Government of India Census 2011, 57% of Indians speak Hindi, 12% of Indians speak English. All other regional languages come under the category of below 8% spoken languages. Hindi is the only language in India more spoken than English. Excluding Hindi, English is the most spoken language in India than any other regional languages. Sanskrit is spoken by only 0.1% of Indians. It means Sanskrit is spoken by not even 0.5% of Indians. Sanskrit is spoken by 4 times below than the 0.5% of Indian population. It is a very negligible percentage. According to 2011 census, about 13 crore people speak English in India. It means about 260,000 Indians speak English as their mother tongue. In other words, how many Dalit Indians own English as their mother tongue among those 260,000 Indians is a matter of research. Though Dalits all over India speak English, still there are many Dalits who needs to learn English. Census records prove that in India there are not only Indians who own English as their mother tongue, and there are lakhs of people who speak English as a language to communicate. Sanskrit is the mother tongue of only 24,821 Indians. Among them, how many Brahmin Indians own Sanskrit as their mother tongue? Of course, it might be not a matter of research because generally a perception is that Brahmins own Sanskrit as their mother tongue. But unfortunately, not all Brahmins are owning Sanskrit as their mother tongue. If we regard these 24,000 people also Brahmins, even then Not all Brahmins own Sanskrit as their mother tongue. Roughly about 4 crore Brahmins in India, but only 24,821 Brahmins own Sanskrit as their mother tongue. If we think that, if we assume that all these 24,821 people who declared Sanskrit as their mother tongue are Brahmins, even then 99.99% of Brahmins don't own Sanskrit as their mother tongue. It's very, very unfortunate. Interestingly, in 1971, Sanskrit was the mother tongue of only 2,212 Brahmin Indians. From 1971 to 2011, it is about 40 years period. Only 22,609 Brahmin Indians adopted Sanskrit as their mother tongue. That too, if we assume that those who are claiming Sanskrit as their mother tongue are Brahmins, then the conclusion is that less and less Brahmins are speaking Sanskrit, not only that, and adopting it as their mother tongue. So there is a Brahmin migration from Sanskrit to English. Very less and less Brahmins are owning Sanskrit as their mother tongue and speaking Sanskrit as their language. In India, tribal languages are the mother tongue of more people than Sanskrit. Tribal languages like Bili is the mother tongue of more than 1 crore Bil Indians, and Gondi is the mother tongue of about 30 lakhs Gond Indians, whereas Sanskrit is the mother tongue of only 24,821 Brahmin Indians. If the whole Brahmin race with a population of roughly about 4 crores learns Sanskrit as its first language, within 10 years Sanskrit will become the mother tongue of 4 crore Indians. In reality, Brahmin children are not studying in Sanskrit medium schools but studying in English medium schools. As a result, Sanskrit has become the mother tongue of very minuscule and highly negligible population of India. Ambedkar wanted to learn Sanskrit, but he was not allowed to learn Sanskrit by the Sanskrit speakers. When he went to Germany for higher studies, there he learned Sanskrit. It is very unfortunate that Ambedkar was not allowed to learn Sanskrit by Brahmins in India. However, he able to learn Sanskrit in Germany. When Dalits wanted to learn Sanskrit, they were not allowed. Of course, today Dalit children are learning Sanskrit as a second or third language in central schools or in many private schools. Like Dalit children, Brahmin children are more interested to go to English medium schools than Sanskrit medium schools. But Dalit children are not only learning English and also they own it, whereas Brahmin children learn English but they own Sanskrit even though they don't know it. A 12th class Dalit boy with 99% marks in Sanskrit finds English is culturally more inspiring than Sanskrit because he finds more Dalit inspiring stories in English literature than in Sanskrit literature. And a 12th class Brahmin boy with 35% marks in Sanskrit finds Sanskrit is culturally more inspiring than English because he finds more Brahmin inspirational stories in Sanskrit literature than in English literature. It means knowing a language or getting good marks in the examination of that language is not enough to build cultural curiosity in the mind of a learner. Only the history of cultural ownership of a language builds cultural curiosity in the mind of a learner. The history of cultural ownership of English language builds cultural curiosity and social pride in the minds of Dalits who learn English. Same way, the history of cultural ownership of Sanskrit language builds cultural curiosity and social pride in the minds of Brahmins who learn Sanskrit. Hence, irrespective of academic performance in the different language tests, a student finds social pride in a language only when he owns it culturally. Dalit student finds social pride in English since he owns it culturally, and Brahmin student finds social pride in Sanskrit since he owns it culturally. Hence, learning a language is different from owning a language. To inspire, the language has to be part of the socio-cultural history of the race or a community. Since English is the part of socio-cultural history of the Dalit race, Dalits find socio-cultural inspiration in English. Whereas, since the Sanskrit is part of the socio-cultural history of the Brahmin race, Brahmins find socio-cultural inspiration in Sanskrit. Does English language inspires culturally Dalit race? Yes, it is. English language has played very much constructive role in shaping positive Dalit personality. English is the language that has originally constructed Dalit empowering vocabulary like Dalit pride, Dalit dignity, Dalit respect, Dalit esteem, Dalit purity, Dalit universe, Dalit world, Dalit empowerment, Dalit culture, Dalitism, Dalitality, and many more. In fact, English is the rich source of Dalit intellectual vocabulary. Virtually, English has laid down the foundations of Dalit modernity on which the whole edifice of Dalit modern intellectual activity lies. Hence, there is an immense contribution of Dalit English literature for empowering Dalit race in every respect of Dalit life. If all Brahmin children go to the Sanskrit medium schools, within 10 years, Sanskrit will become the mother tongue of 4 crore Brahmin Indians. If all Dalit children go to the English medium schools, within 10 years, English will become the mother tongue of 20 crore Dalit Indians. This is the way how Dalit can own English as their mother tongue, and this is the way how Brahmin can own Sanskrit as their mother tongue. Without Brahmin children studying in Sanskrit medium schools, a Sanskrit cannot become mother tongue of Brahmin Indians. Without Dalit children studying in English medium schools, English cannot become mother tongue of Dalit Indians. Taking inspiration from the history of Brahmin Indian race, Brahmin children should go to Sanskrit medium schools so that in future Sanskrit will become mother tongue of more and more Indians. Taking inspiration from the Dalit history, Dalit children should go to English medium schools so that English will become the mother tongue of more and more Dalit Indians. This way we can protect the spirit of Dalit history by owning English as the mother tongue of Dalit race, and this way we can protect the spirit of Brahmin history by owning Brahmin Indians, Sanskrit as their mother tongue. The point which I am trying to make here is that the majority of Dalit Indians don't know English and the majority of Brahmin Indians don't know Sanskrit. However, for claiming the cultural heritage of any language, the number of speakers of that particular language is not at all important. It doesn't matter how many Dalits speak English. It doesn't matter how many Brahmins speak Sanskrit. What matters is that the history of cultural heritage of that language. Without English, the history of Dalit race is incomplete. Without Sanskrit, the history of Brahmin race is incomplete. If you look at the contribution of English for the empowerment of modern Dalit Indian race, we could find great names like Phule, Ambedkar and Kanshirao. Phule, with just 7th class English medium education, gave a world vision because he read Thomas Paine's book, The Rights of Man. Phule gave great vision to the world and inspired millions of Dalit Indians, including Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. Had there been no English, there would have been no Babasaheb Ambedkar who could architect the Constitution of India. Had there been no English, we could have not find Babasaheb Ambedkar as a great intellectual of the world, the great thinker of the world. Ambedkar wanted common language for Dalit Indians so that they could understand each other. He suggested English as the common language for Dalit Indian race all over India so that Dalits from different parts of the world, different parts of the India could understand each other in one common language, that is English. English language has produced the great political thinker and great political strategist like Kanshirao, who has changed the landscape of Dalit Indian politics, who gave pan-Dalit political Indian identity. Mahatma Phule, Babasaheb Ambedkar, Manyavar Kanshirao, all these three great Dalit intellectuals are English-speaking thinkers and political strategists. Today, there are many Dalits who speak English and there are many Dalits who can't speak English. Today, there are many Brahmins who speak English and there are many Brahmins who can't speak Sanskrit. Whether Dalits could speak English language or not, it inspires Dalits culturally and socially. Whether Brahmins speak Sanskrit or not, it inspires Brahmins culturally and socially. Hardly can we find any Dalit who refuse to take pride in English. Hardly can we find any Brahmin who refuse to take pride in Sanskrit. Dalits find their pride in English and Brahmins find their pride in Sanskrit. Hence, without English, there is no history of Dalit ideas and there is no history of Dalit race. Same as without Sanskrit, there is no history of Brahmin ideas and there is no history of Brahmin race. So there is a fundamental and organic relation between English language and Dalit race. Same way, there is a fundamental and organic relation between Sanskrit language and Brahmin race. There is fundamental and organic relation between English language and Dalit history. Same way, there is a fundamental and organic relation between Sanskrit language and Brahmin history. What is English is to Dalit race, Sanskrit is to Brahmin race. Hence, in India, English is Dalit English and Sanskrit is Brahmin Sanskrit. However, no language is property of any community, any race. Hence, English is the language of everyone and Sanskrit is language of everyone. But the spirit of Indian history tells us that Dalit pride lies in English and Brahmin pride lies in Sanskrit. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much.